This episode contains bad language. Listener discretion is advised. Hi, everybody. You are listening to another Notes on Nonsense. These are the episodes where me, your host, gives you a topic every week, and I explain why that topic is total bullshit, and then I give you a challenge, and so it's a lot of fun. But these are the episodes of the same 24 Hours podcast where I just talk. So welcome to another episode. My new book, The Year of No Nonsense, is out December 17th, and these Notes on Nonsense are a celebration of that book. But I imagine they're going to keep going for quite some time. So thank you for joining me for another Notes on Nonsense. Today's topic is hair color is bullshit. And I do apologize for the quality of the recording. I am recording on my iPhone. My parents live in Savannah on a very busy street, and that's where I'm at. So you get what you get, and you don't pitch a fit. Right. So this topic today is hair color is bullshit, and I want to explain why. On Wednesday of last week, I went to get my hair done, and I left the hair place, and I was furious. My hair looked nothing like I thought it should, nothing like I asked it to look like, and it was basically orange in certain places, which was always great. So as I was driving to New York, my check engine light came on, and I was just having one of those days where it seemed like everything was kind of not as it should be. Everything felt a little bit fussy and difficult, and I was cranky. I was just cranky. So the following morning, I was going to get up and do some media stuff. I was doing media for 4 days in New York, and I was very nervous, and everything was just needed to be just so, it needed to be correct. It needed to be right. And at approximately 1:30 in the morning, I get a phone call, and it's my husband, and my mom had called him and reached him, and my grandfather had passed away. He was 87, and he had a heart attack earlier in the week, but he was doing well. Like he had a rough few days, but then he looked like he was doing well. And so no one was overly concerned because he seemed to be doing okay. And then he was gone just as fast as anything else happens. There it was. He was just gone. And I continued to stay in New York because there was nothing that I could do from where I was, but every moment that had happened on Wednesday that was so important in that moment was no longer important. The weirdest thing happened. It was a complete and utter perspective shift, and that's how it usually is, right? We have to wait until something slaps us in the face to realize that there needs to be a change in perspective. And in that moment, I realized that hair color was absolute bullshit. It didn't even matter. I did not think another thing of it. I didn't think anything else of the hair color of the check engine light, which I need to worry about the check engine light, I suppose. But I'll worry about that when I get home. And I got home to Savannah. I drove from New York to Boston on Saturday night, got in about 10:30, and flew out Sunday morning to be with my family yesterday. And I've got to fly back home tomorrow to be with my other family that I haven't seen. And I mean, we're just so lucky that I had my grandparents for as long as I did, and I had both of my parents. And I just think about it and realize so many days I am stuck in the minutia. And we all are. We are all stuck in the minutia of our lives, worrying about absolute crap that doesn't matter. At the end of the day, we die. At the end of the day, life is over, and it's not going to matter what our hair looked like. It's not going to matter anything that we're spending our time, wasting our time on. It doesn't matter. We have to work, right? We have to work. So we should have a job that doesn't kill us, that doesn't make us insane. We're going to die one day, and therefore we should take that very seriously. Our time here is limited. We don't even have a guarantee that we're going to make it to old age. My grandfather was very lucky that he lived to be 87. But we're not guaranteed 87 years. We're not guaranteed 47 years. We're not guaranteed anything, and yet we're walking around worrying about bullshit that doesn't even matter and not focusing on the things that do. Or on the flip side, we're walking around worrying about the things that do matter to our own detriment. We're taking care of everyone else, not taking care of ourselves. And that's also bullshit, because it is our life and it is our health, and we have to take care of ourselves. Other people matter, but we also matter. And if we're not taking care of our health and happiness and success, and doing it in a way that makes our life as a whole the way we want to live it, the way we want to be, the dreams we have, but we're also loving the people around us. It's the combination of it all, and there's no such thing as balance. I know that. So we can't balance it. But we can make sure that we're not taking it for granted. And I learned today, as we went over to my grandfather's house, I wanted something of his, just, to remember him by, and I found this awesome pimp ring. It was like a gold ring with a diamond. It was sweet. I'm going to wear it. I love it. And I just think I had to have something of his to remind me of him. And the pimp ring is totally, totally perfect. But I miss the idea that I can't call him. And I miss the idea that I wasn't the greatest granddaughter. I was a good granddaughter, and he loved me, but I could have done better. And I can always do better. We can always do better. And the question is, where do we go from here when we find ourselves in a situation when we're guilty, when we feel guilty, when we're full of regret? And I'm not full of regret. I just wish I would have done more. I wish I would have done more. And sitting on the other side of this today, I can tell you how hard it is. And you all know, many of you have lost people and parents and people even closer to you, children, and it's hard. It's hard to say goodbye, but it's harder to live with the regret and just missing that person. And so I just wanted to talk about that on this episode, because it stopped me in my tracks. It made me really ask myself, what is mattering to me right now? What is most important? And I had to finish out my trip in New York because there were commitments, and I had to take care of my little family unit. But the second I could get here to be with my mom, I was here, because it matters. It matters to be with her right now. It matters to say goodbye to my grandfather. All of these things matter. And my great aunt, so Papu, who was my grandfather, his sister and one of his brothers came, and I got to spend some time with some family I hadn't seen since I want to say I hadn't seen my aunt since I was 5, some crazy number like that. And just to realize that family is extremely important. And it's not like you need me to tell you that, but when is the last time that you've really thought about it? Some of us are sacrificing our own health to the detriment of ourselves for our family. And then some of us are avoiding the family situation at all costs. And so whichever side of the spectrum you fall on, it has an impact. And you have to find your way. And I have to find my way. This has made me realize that I want to spend more time with my family, more time with the people I love. And it's been such a crazy year for us, moving twice and now moving away out of the state of Georgia. It's been, it's difficult. I can't just turn around and drive down here anymore. And that's weird. It's hard. It's hard to think about. And so my challenge for you this week is to think about what sort of bullshit behaviors you're perpetuating that really don't matter, the things that you're worried about and you're getting really mad about, like your hair color or whatever else is taking up mental space that doesn't matter. I want you to realize it, and I want you to change it, not for me, but for yourself, because the regret on the other side of it is not worth it. By any stretch of the imagination, it's not worth it, and it's very painful. And I wanted to share that with you since I'm in the middle of it right now. I'm in the middle of the start of the grief cycle, and it's rotten. It's a bad place to be. It's hard, and my grandparents were another set of parents to me. They were everywhere my parents were growing up. Instead of having 2 pairs of hands clapping for me at basketball games, I had 4 pairs. I had both my grandparents too, and that's amazing. It's amazing, right? And to have that sort of family, but then the absence of it is even stronger. And trying to understand what to do with that regret is where I'm at right now. And so learning to sit in it and to admit where I've messed up is why I'm recording this for you guys. So my challenge for you is to hug your people, wherever they are, whoever they are. Make amends, tell them you love them, forgive them, and if you can't forgive them, then just go with the idea that they're doing the best that they can. And even if their best really sucks, it's the best that they can do. And for you, that's going to give you some peace. Until next time, you guys, thanks for listening.